Hey guys, sorry that I was gone for a while. I was kind of busy with a few things. I kind of missed a lot. Holy Week, Easter, the Pope died, and a new Pope was elected, who's from the United States. That's crazy. I actually wrote the script in February. Yeah, that's how long I was gone. Sorry guys that I wasn't making videos, but I hope that you enjoyed this video, and I hope that I can um, start uploading more and more. So, yeah. If you have ever been to a Catholic church, you'll know that there's always a priest there. Most times he'll be assisted by maybe one or more deacons, usually a group of young boys who are called altar servers. However, not all churches are like this. Some churches are called cathedrals, and some are called basilicas. If you're confused, don't worry. I'm here to explain the differences between these different types of worship spaces and also chapels. Now, let's start off with a chapel. A chapel can either be a standalone building, part of a larger church, or sometimes just a room in a prison or a school. A chapel is just a permanent worship space with an altar without a permanent congregation. This is the major thing that separates a chapel from all the other worship spaces, is that a chapel does not usually have a permanent priest or congregation. However, some chapels have a special priest, called a chaplain, who serves the chapel, maybe because of where the chapel is. Like the priest might be in the military or might be a minister in the hospital. If so, then he would be a permanent priest in the chapel. Next is the church, also called a parish. This is your normal church that has an altar, a priest, and maybe a side chapel in it. The priest has a permanent congregation, and the head priest of the parish is called a rector or a pastor. The pastor only controls that church, however, and he has to submit to the bishop. Wait, what's a bishop? Well, a bishop is a priest who has been consecrated by the Pope. While priests get churches, bishops get cathedrals, which is the center church in a diocese. What's a diocese? A diocese is a region where a bishop rules. Think of diocese as like a country, and all those churches as cities. Think of the cathedral as the capital of the country, and the bishop as the king of the country. That's basically a diocese. Cathedrals are usually much larger than churches. The cathedral has a large number of priests and deacons who work there. Also, a cathedral has a special throne for the bishop called a cathedra, which means throne in Greek. That's where the bishop sits. And that's how we get the name cathedral, because it has the throne of the bishop. Now, a basilica is not a better type of cathedral or church. Any church can be called a basilica. It just gets special privileges from the Pope, either because of some miracle of visitation or maybe a historical impact. A basilica could be anything from a small one-priest parish to the oldest and largest cathedral in the country. Think of a basilica as just an important church. Basilica used to be a type of architectural style in Roman cities as a public building. However, after the Roman Empire became Christian, the bishop began using these public buildings as his cathedral, the basilicas. But over time, they were too small to fit the congregation, so the bishop allowed for priests to be in charge of parish churches. As Christianity spread, not all cathedrals were made in the basilica architecture style, and basilica eventually became a title to certain churches. Now you know some of this Catholic trivia, so whether you see a church or a cathedral, you can comfortably know who is in charge of it. Also, I guess you could show off to your friends about your knowledge in Catholicism.